Selling your house is one of the most stressful things you can do, and in today's tricky market, it's got a whole lot harder.
We're on a mission to turn unsellable houses into unstoppable sellers.
I'm going to get the best out of the houses.
While I get the best out of the estate agents.
Together, we're going to show you the tricks of the trade to make an unsellable house sellable.
Coming up on today's show, the lack of a sale is forcing these lovebirds to live apart.
It's been 6 months. I don't know how long it's going to carry on going on for.
Smoke gets in Sophie's eyes.
Oh, my God.
And up her nose.
No way. Smoking in a bedroom? That is absolutely disgusting. And with 4 agents marketing the house, John finds a very confused homeowner.
Do you know the names of the people you're dealing with at each of the agents?
Not without looking it up.
OK.
Today we're rescuing an unsellable in Thames Mead, which is just 9 miles from the heart of London and right on the banks of the Thames.
Now, our property's been on the market for a year. There have been 4 agents on the case and 2 big price drops. But despite all this, there have been no takers.
It's a 2-bedroom, end-of-terraced house. It has a conservatory and a good-sized garden, and it was originally put on the market in November 2007 for £190,000. But after 2 price drops, you'll now get £5 change from £178,000.
There have been viewers, though, so I need to get inside and find out what's putting them off.
And I want to talk to the latest agent and find out what's going on.
Meet tradesman Dennis Williams and his wife Sue. They've been married 10 years and have lived here throughout their marriage, but now they are looking to escape to the country.
The dream for me and Sue would be to have a beautiful little cottage in a Norfolk village and just live the country dream, I think.
6 months ago, Sue moved to Norfolk for a new job and has been working like a dog ever since at these boarding kennels.
I love living in the countryside and working with the dogs. The only thing is, I miss Den, and I want Den to be here and sharing our life together up here in the country.
Back in the big smoke, Dennis has been left to look after the house and get it sold.
Not having a woman about when you're used to having a woman about, it's absolutely crazy.
For Dennis, life away from Sue is becoming increasingly stressful.
Keep the house clean, do the washing, the cooking, the ironing. I need her back as soon as possible.
The first 2 months of marketing delivered over a dozen viewings, but since then, a complete lack of interest has left Dennis and Sue in a desperate situation.
We have been looking, and we've seen houses that we like, but obviously we can't do anything until we've sold our one.
If John and Sophie could sell my house tomorrow, it'd mean the absolute world to me to get back living with my wife and enjoying our life in Norfolk.
Our mission is to reunite this married couple. Time for me to see if 6 months of the single life is what's stopping this sale. Not a great start. It looks like a rubbish dump out here. First impressions really do count, and frankly, this is, well, rubbish. Let's hope I'm wowed when I get through the door. Oh, it stinks and it's dark. A smell of smoke in this house is absolutely overpowering. I feel like I've just walked into an ashtray. Oh, that is a big no-no. Oof. Really grubby walls. The paintwork is definitely not fresh. Makes the hallway feel much smaller and darker. Wonder what's upstairs. This room is incredibly dark. I don't know if it's something to do with this lampshade, which is dirty and filtering all the light up, but it's very, very dark. A lot of DVDs here. This room feels very masculine, very cluttered. I wouldn't want to live in this room. Time to review the sitting room, or should I say the local cinema. First impressions of this room, it is totally dominated by this ginormous television. Having a television this size in a room this size is complete madness. See, it's not a bad-sized room, actually, and it's quite nicely proportioned, but the sofas are huge. I mean, look at the size of this sofa. It's got to be 2 metres deep. What on earth is this? Just when I thought nothing in this house was going to be out of this world, it's a deodorizer. Evidently, it's not working because it still smells very tobacco-y in here. What on earth is this? I'd like a diamond this big. Oh, a conservatory. I don't know why you need net curtains dividing the sitting room and the conservatory, because you're just blocking the view of the garden, which is one of the nicest features of the house. This house has real potential, but these rooms do not do it any justice. And that smell will really cloud any viewer's opinion of this property. When you're selling a house, it's really important to create a great first impression. But the first impression when I walked through that door was the overpowering smell of cigarette smoke, and that goes throughout the whole house. It's also dark, grubby, and in its present state, totally unsellable.
I want to get to the bottom of why none of Dennis's 4 agents has managed to deliver an offer. But before I do that, I need to get to know the local area. When it was first built 40 years ago, Thamesmead was hailed as the town of the future. Funded by the Greater London Council, it's a huge development of high and low-rise blocks with interconnecting walkways covering 1,000 acres of former marshland near to the River Thames. It's no secret that Thamesmead has had its problems in the past, but with multi-million-pound plans for development and its proximity to central London, it could be a good area for investment. What's more, there's renewed community spirit and many of the historic problems here have gone away.
Wherever you live, a sense of community is one of the most important things. Now, these cards have been produced by a local community group with vital information for young people, old people, just about everyone. This is obviously a community that cares about itself. And I think this place ticks all the right boxes for first-time buyers or for families looking to move up to a bigger property at a reasonable price.
Back at the house, time to tackle Dennis and his tobacco. Dennis, if you were walking off the street in a potential buyer and you walked into this bedroom, what would your first thoughts be?
Maybe a little bit gloomy, too much stuff in here maybe, for a small room. Ashtray.
Smoking in bedrooms.
Yes.
It's a bit of a no-no, especially when you're trying to sell your house. My first job in this house is to banish the ashtrays and the smoking, because no one wants a bedroom that smells like a pub, do they?
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's enough.
Should we go downstairs?
Yeah.
Thanks. Do you know what the first thing I noticed when I walked into this room was?
No.
The huge television.
Yes.
It's overwhelmingly big.
That's our major entertainment, really. So
Yeah.
I went for a big one.
I just think at the moment it feels smaller than it actually is, because you've got quite big sofas and a huge television.
I do see where you're coming from.
You're just nervous I'm going to make you get rid of the telly, aren't you?
I can see that coming. I can see that coming.
You can see. Well, I just think for the purpose of selling, I'd like to make more of the conservatory and the garden. If taking away the TV got a bad reception, how will he react to my new no-smoking ban? Now, which leads me nicely on to, what is this alien thing? I think it's a home
Odoriser.
Do you think it's working, Dennis?
When I walk into the room, I do notice it smells better than the nicotine.
OK. When I walked through the front door, the first thing I noticed was the smell of smoke. So we're really going to have to find a way to make this house smell less of smoke.
OK.
OK. Now, should we go into the conservatory? Dennis, can I ask you a question? What do you do in here?
We don't use it as much as we would like to.
People do have a tendency to make their conservatories gradually into junk rooms. Or not junk rooms, but, you know, places that you put video recorders with no televisions and do your laundry. So I want to take this room back. And were you planning to have a party anytime soon?
That's for private consumption.
Private consumption. Because I was laughing earlier, it's a real boys' house at the moment. You've got your beer, you've got your DVDs, you've got your games, consoles.
Well, I've got no woman to stop me doing those things at the moment.
At the moment. See, I'd like to give this house a bit more of a feminine touch again. Now, your words were gloomy and cluttered, and no one wants gloomy and cluttered. We want bright and big. So that's what we're going to do.
OK, fine.
And then we're also going to fumigate. Smokers. Come on, then. Should we get going?
Yeah.
Now that I've cleared the air with Dennis, we can get to work and turn this from unsellable to sellable.
This area was designed for commuters. There are good bus and train links. The property here is much cheaper than in the centre of London. I'm off to the station to see what the local commuters think about it and how quick it is to get into town.
You commute into London every day?
Yes.
How long does it take you to get into work each day, then?
About 30 minutes. From door to door, I can get to work in 40 minutes to London Bridge.
What's this area got going for it?
It's got a bit of community about it. I'd say a bit more than London.
Well, why is it so nice? What do you like
It's
about
very
it?
close to the Thames.
So is there a good community, do you think? I mean,
There are community centres for children and got Danson Park in Bexley. Lovely open spaces.
The neighbourhood is lovely, and people make that sacrifice just to commute from here to London. The neighbourhood is what attracts people. It's beautiful around here.
Well, the locals like the area. Let's hope Sophie can get a buyer to like the house too.
Back at Dirty Dens, it's time to declutter. So, how many movies do you think you own?
300, 400, something like that.
Because, you know, I was talking about a feminine touch.
Yeah.
We want to make it look a bit brighter and a bit more ladylike. There's no avoiding tackling downstairs. So, that's just smoky water.
That's correct.
Nice. Well, there you go. I'm going to deal with the ashtrays. Smoking in a house you're trying to sell is a big no-no. Now that we've extinguished those cigarettes, the unsellables can get in and get everything out. Including that gigantic television. A screen that size is a big turn-off when it dominates a room. After all that hard work, I think we deserve a little rest.
This is where I sit and watch TV.
Yeah, I can see the point of this. It's incredibly comfortable. But anyway, we can't sit around. We've got lots to do. Now that we've cleared the rooms and started the deodorising, I can get on with the decorating.
"50,000 people have moved to Thamesmead over the last 30 years, and despite the current quiet property market, houses are still selling. Here are 3 that have sold recently.
2-bedroom, end of terrace, recently refurbished flooring, sold for £163,000. 2-bedroom terrace, ensuite shower, off-road parking, sold within 4 months, £175,000. New build 2-bedroom house, double glazing, 50-foot garden, sold for £174,995. Which all goes to show that even in difficult times like these, houses are still selling in Thamesmead.
Back at the house, I now have a design plan to get Dennis and Sue's house moving off the market. This house is going to need to appeal to families if it's going to sell, and at the moment it doesn't. It lacks the feminine touch and it reeks of cigarettes. Now we've got rid of the worst offending items, we are ready to go. Now the hallway is small and dark, so I want to brighten it up. The spare bedroom, you could not swing a cat in there, it's so crowded. So again, it's all about creating space and banishing the smell of cigarettes. The sitting room is overcrowded and full of boys' toys, so we need to give it an injection of feminine charm. The border in the sitting room makes this room feel small, so we're stripping that off to be replaced with white walls and a blue feature wall. Then we're going to reduce the furniture and hide the huge TV in a custom-made cabinet. The new colour scheme and curtains will also integrate the conservatory into the rest of the house.
This home is currently being marketed by 4 agents, and I think that could be a major mistake, and the reason why it remains unsold.
I mean, I would normally say to people that having more than 1 agent is a bad idea, let alone having more than 2. What's the thinking there?
Just to, hopefully, the more agents you've got, maybe the more viewings you get.
Important thing, Do you know the names of the people you're dealing with at each of the agents?
Not without looking it up.
It's really important to have a close relationship with your agent, and with 4 different ones, Den just has no contact at all.
I mean, are you happy if we try and get it down to just a couple of agents?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because I think that's going to work better for you. So what I want to do is actually give you a couple of little props which will make you decide which agent is the best and just go with them. So let's have a look at this.
Lovely.
To get Den to decide who's working hardest for him, I'm sparing no expense. We're going back to basics. I want him to rate his 4 agents, considering the time on the market, their commission, amount of viewings, any offers and communication.
Really, really big one here, communication. Just think how often they're phoning you, what you're getting back from them, what feedback you're getting.
This should enable Den to choose his top agents. Later, I'll be meeting them to get them to work even harder. When we first met Dennis and Sue Williams, their unsold house was keeping them apart.
I'm really desperate to sell the house. All I want is to get a house up here and me and Den to be together.
The longer it goes on, the harder it becomes because you can't see any light at the end of the tunnel.
But then the Unsellables stepped in to clear the air. So soon, this house will be officially sellable.
Hello.
Hello there. What on earth is that?
You might well ask. It's a deodorizer, so supposedly when you're smoking, it sucks the smoky air in and puffs out fresh air, but it's not working.
You can always open a window instead. Or just smoke outside.
So how's things going?
Well, I've been having a good look around, and I've actually found quite a few things round here we can use in the marketing. I don't think we're pushing this house nearly hard enough. And once I've got my work done, I might nip over to the golf course over there, play a couple of holes, I think.
If I find you within 5 metres of the golf course, I will make you drink this. Bye. When I first walked into this room, I thought Dennis and Sue had painted it this baked meringue colour. But no, they'd actually painted it white. So we have used a stain-blocking paint to stop the nicotine shining through. Dennis's beloved TV dominated the room, so to make sure the screen is unseen by potential buyers, we're building a custom-made cabinet. Simply made from MDF and painted white, this is an inexpensive way of making sure your electrical appliances don't make viewers turn off. Exposed brickwork in conservatories like this one used to be really, really popular, but I think it can make the room feel dark and small. But with a few coats of masonry paint, hey presto, you've got a brilliant white, bright conservatory. With a limited budget and some hard work, this stale home will be freshened up in no time.
Dennis has decided to cut his agents down from 4 to just 2, and I'm on my way to meet with one of them. Dennis likes the company, but with no viewers in 5 months, he feels there are a couple of problems.
Now, I asked Dennis this morning whether it's fair or not. He doesn't feel that communication from your side has been good.
If that's how he feels, that is certainly something that we would need to address.
OK, blunt question, how comes you haven't got any viewers through the door?
We have had a couple of people that have wanted to go and see the property, and we've not been able to get access inside simply because Dennis does do shift work. Viewings are also restricted every other weekend because Dennis is visiting his wife.
Haven't you got keys to the property?
We have requested keys in the past, and
So why hasn't he
Dennis was a little bit reluctant to let us have the keys.
This is a classic case of the vendor not helping the agent to sell. And that's what happens when communication really breaks down.
I mean, this is mad. If he goes away at the weekend, you literally just can't show the property that weekend.
And the fact that viewers do come into the office and say, well, what can I go and see now?
But that's completely balmy. From my point of view, you know, we've got to get this sorted out. We've got to get your keys.
I do agree. I think one of the reasons that Dennis didn't want to give us keys, he would need to give for lots of different agents keys, and obviously didn't want to be at any stage not knowing where keys were located.
Another good argument for getting rid of the 4 agent thing.
Absolutely.
First of all, in terms of getting the property moving again then, Lynn, here's a list of what I'd like to see. More communication, you get in touch with Dennis more often.
We will certainly be doing that, and we will be doing that on a face-to-face basis.
The absolute fundamental thing is you've got to get access to the property. He's not going to sell the house unless you can get people through the door.
Yes, definitely.
Well, no viewings at all in 5 months is pretty poor, but there is a basic problem here. Dennis hasn't even given the agent keys, so a lot of the time they can't even show the house. Looks like I'm going to have another word with him. Now, if you want to avoid these basic communication problems with your agent, here's a few tips. You want 1 or at most 2 agents marketing your property, but before you make a decision, you should get valuations from at least 3 estate agents. When it comes to making your decision, go with the agent who impresses you the most, who you've got the most confidence in, not necessarily the one who puts the biggest price tag on the house. Let your agent know they shouldn't be backward in coming forward. If your decor's putting viewers off, they need to be able to tell you, and you have to be able to take advice without taking offence. After all, they've been in the selling game a lot longer than you have.
Back at Dennis's, fresh paint has fumigated his smoky house. So now it's just the finishing touches left to complete. Just 3 days ago, this 2-bed Thamesmead property was tired, stale and stunk of cigarettes. The hallway was like walking into an ashtray. But now, with a welcoming fresh new paint job, it's a light, bright and clean entrance area. The box room upstairs was particularly poky. Too much clutter made it feel confined and cramped. But now, by removing that clutter, the computer and the desk, we've brought back the bedroom. Moving the furniture gives the room more space, and the white walls with a touch of lemon makes this room feel fresh. Matching linens, pictures and accessories harmonise a small but perfectly formed room. The living room featured a cinematic screen, discarded butts, overly large sofas, and a space-age air purifier that didn't mask the stench of cigarettes. Well, now we've changed the living room layout, taken out a sofa, and confined the large screen TV in this cabinet. The white walls with a blue feature wall will open up the space. And finally, the conservatory was just a dumping ground for Dennis and Sue. But after our work, it's a cosy, bright summer room that seamlessly fits with the rest of the house. After the Unsellables moved in for 3 days, Sue and Dennis have come back to view their house.
I'll be glad to see if my TV's still in there. I got an inkling that was going.
Let's see what they think of our handiwork.
Now, what would you like to see inside the house?
Nice and bright.
Nice and bright.
Clean.
Clean.
Which it already is.
Do you think that since you've been away, it's very tidy, I'd like to say, on Dennis's behalf, but do you think it's got a bit more blokey?
I think he does his best.
Yeah.
But there's just things that he wouldn't think of doing, like cleaning windows and things like that. That wouldn't enter his head.
No. Well, I want to show you upstairs to the spare bedroom first, so follow me. Come on in.
Oh, wow.
Bit of a change.
It certainly is.
It's a lot brighter, isn't it?
It's a lot brighter, a lot bigger.
The way you've done it, it just looks more spacious. You can actually move around the room, you know. It's lovely.
Brilliant. Well, 1 point to us. Should we go downstairs? Come on in, Sue and Dennis.
Oh, dear.
You said, oh, dear. Now, it's not the reaction I was expecting.
No, that's a good idea.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's a good idea. The same again, it's so much more room, cleaner, brighter.
I can't get over it.
Really?
No, just so different. The curtains are lovely.
And ta-da.
Oh, lovely.
I've still got my telly.
You still have your telly, yes.
Oh, that's made him happy.
So it does smell fresher in here. Do you think you'll be smoking outside from now on?
Yes, we've already...
Have you already decided
Already
that?
discussed
already had
that,
a discussion about that.
Brilliant.
We are going to be
outside.
smoking outside.
What are you most looking forward to about both being in Norfolk together?
I think both being together in Norfolk is what we are looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Although I'm not too sure now.
Well, stop gabbing and come into the new conservatory. I'm going to bring you round this way so you can admire the whole thing. You want it to be a flow from that door through here, through to your garden.
Yeah.
Can you imagine sitting down?
Nice cold drink.
I've hidden the beers. And we might have put the beers in here, actually, Dennis. We might have to go and find those beers. So are you happy, Sue? I was a bit nervous.
No, very happy. It's just so different.
Now the house smells fresh, it looks fresh. I think it's appealing to buyers. It's move-in ready. It's kind of what people are looking for.
We've got a really nice start now, so we'll do our best to keep it like that.
Brilliant.
Well, the house has a completely new look, and I'm sure viewers are going to love it. And now we've decided which of the agents to keep, it's really down to them to bring those viewers in and get us a sale.
I hope Sophie remembered to put my whiteboard away.
The house definitely warrants a special editorial in a local newspaper that we advertise in on a weekly basis. The property is much less cluttered. It feels much more open as you come in. You've got a general feeling of space, and I'm really confident that we can now sell it. If you'd like to come through, this is the first bedroom.
Oh, that's a good size, isn't it? And it's very clean.
And this is the reception room.
Thank you. Come in. That corner begs a TV. Is that where it should go?
That is where the TV socket is. However, we have the TV concealed just here.
Oh, my God. How great is that?
So is the property for yourself to live in or for an investment purchase?
No, it's for my son who has now just got a job and needs to be working and living nearer to London.
So, what's the verdict?
I'm going to tell him it's very well decorated, it's low maintenance, it's all the things that basically would mean that he could move straight into it without any aggravation whatsoever. It's not high maintenance, which is something that a young lad does not need, from my experience of having 3 at home anyway.
Well, I think it's looking great in there now.
Well, it's totally transformed. It's much fresher, a bit more feminine and perfect for a family, so I could not be more pleased.
And if we can persuade Dennis to keep it fresh by doing his smoking out in the garden, I think viewers are going to be really impressed too.
I agree, but if Dennis smokes in that house, he has got me to answer to.
In the 4 weeks since the Unsellables relaunched the house, the agents booked in 3 new viewings. Although the house is still on the market, Dennis and Sue are much closer to their dream life together in Norfolk.